Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about Elon Musk. I feel like he's been in the news quite a bit recently, but this is much different than what he's usually in the news for, but maybe not so much given the reaction to the news. So Elon Musk is now the largest shareholder in Twitter out of anyone. I think Jack Dorsey has something like 2% of a shareholder value, and Elon Musk is exceeding 9%. I think it's 9.2%, give or take. And upon this news, we saw a mixed reaction. We saw more of the center right, libertarian, conservative type of people really happy with this. And then we saw the left leaning and full leftists sort of freaking out about this, especially the employees within the company. But what sort of led up to Elon Musk becoming a shareholder was he was sort of just polling his followers on Twitters, asking them what do they feel about the platform. Specifically, he said, free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? And then in a preceding tweet, he said, the consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully. And once that poll ended, we saw that more than 70% of the 2 million people that voted said no, they don't believe that Twitter adheres to free speech and it's not within their policies, while about 30% said they do believe that. I don't know about you. I kind of am in the no category. So after a few days, he kind of just kept talking about Twitter here and there. And then he said, given that Twitter serves as a de facto public town square, failing to adhere to free speech principles fundamentally undermines democracy. And he asked, what should be done? And given that line of questioning, he got a lot of people who are more libertarian or conservative responding, saying, buy it, full out buy it. You are the richest man in the world. What are you doing with your wealth if you're complaining about these things? But he also asked, is a new platform needed? So maybe he was thinking about creating another platform, but I think a lot of people, or in reality, a lot of people responded. There were some people who said yes, they'd rather a new platform, and then other people just want, a reformation of Twitter. So we saw a lot of people, just responding to this tweet saying, put your hand up if you think Elon Musk should buy Twitter and reinstate all banned accounts. And then other people saying, why don't you just buy it? And then we had one person say, would you consider building a new social media platform? One that would consist of an open source algorithm, one where free speech and adhering to free speech is given top priority, one where propaganda is very minimal. I think that kind of platform is needed. And Elon Musk responded, surprisingly. He sometimes responds to people I've never been responded to, but maybe it'll happen one day. A couple of my friends have. He said, am giving serious thought to this. He said this on March 26th. So when news came out that he actually had become one of the largest shareholders after, these little Twitter polling he did, a lot of people online had mixed reactions. Conservatives love this idea, guns blazing, go in, change everything, exert your influence now that you're the largest shareholder. And then there was the other reaction. And this reaction we saw a lot of coming from actual Twitter employees at the company being like, yay, my stock price went up, but oh my God, I hate Elon Musk. And I always found it kind of interesting, at least now, a lot of people on the left don't like Elon Musk. And maybe they did before, but they have definitely changed their minds since he's sort of recently more come out against COVID restrictions, or at least, government tyranny in that regards. And he's come out really in favor of more free speech sort of policies on these platforms and just in life in general, I guess. I don't know about you, but I just started seeing all over my timeline all of these Twitter employees just basically having a freak out upon the news that Elon Musk was now a shareholder and a very large shareholder. So this one guy wrote on Twitter, "My name is Jackson Mulholland, and I'm one of many people here working at Twitter in charge of developing terms and conditions for users. We're not stripping away quote unquote free speech. We're protecting users from bullies, bigots, and spam. I refuse to work with or for Elon Musk. I'm resigning." So I guess now we have seen in the tech space, at least, and places like Disney and those sort of places, more like media tech spaces, where employees are trying to exert a lot of influence on their companies, more so than they really have in the past. And it seems like it's been working. But in this case of a publicly traded company, I think you can't really exert that sort of influence of, saying we don't want shareholders X, Y, and Z here. That's sort of with that outside of the realm of their influence. But it's sort of interesting that this specific person is someone who works on the terms and conditions, yet they don't really want to work with people. They want to protect people from bullies, bigots, and spam. Yet time and time again, like in my example, I tweeted out a joke and it was about an outfit Kim Kardashian was wearing. And I didn't expect to get flooded with these crazy, I think it was K-pop accounts and all of these accounts coming after me, talking about the way I look, talking about my race, I'm white, blah, blah, blah. I can't have an opinion, all of these things. Yet when I looked into these accounts are those sort of accounts that do this to a lot of people. They really go after people. So I think maybe this guy is only redirecting this in one area versus everywhere else. But at the same time, I don't really think those people even should have had their accounts removed because whatever, you're a troll, you're an a-hole on the internet. That is what the internet is. And time again, I'm kind of diverting away from the topic at hand. We see journalists being upset with troll accounts. But when you're on the internet, that just unfortunately, or fortunately, depending if you're a troll, that's just part of the internet and dealing with it. And, I always take those opportunities as a great opportunity to have a new block list. Yay, you've literally identified yourself to me as someone I don't want to interact with on Twitter. But that wasn't the only Twitter employee that had a huge issue with this. And, keep in mind, these responses from the Twitter employees was prior to Elon Musk getting a position on the board. I'm curious if that guy actually did resign because right now he would be definitely working with Elon, not necessarily for, because the board is, made up of several people. But yeah, definitely have to work with him and take some direction indirectly from Elon. So I'm curious if that guy did actually quit. But there was a lot more than him. Andy No did a really good Twitter thread compiling some of the reactions Twitter employees had. So this reaction comes from Casey Nick Rumba, a data scientist at Twitter. And they say, "I'm honestly kind of terrified right now." In response to another tweet they made saying, "A prominent transphobe buying a large stake in Twitter is not at all funny." I think maybe that person had seen all the memes going around of people thinking it's actually hilarious that he actually did buy a massive stake in the company. And then their Twitter bio, says a little more about them. They're a data scientist at Twitter. They like cats. They're a cat lady. They're a feminist. They're a demisexual, genderqueer, trans woman. She/her with the pronouns. And then the pride flag and then the trans flag. I honestly don't know what a demisexual, genderqueer, trans woman is. I know what a demisexual is, but I don't know how that works in conjunction with those two other labels. It's a very long label. I may not entirely know what this person is talking about. I don't follow Elon, like I don't stalk him, so I don't know every single thing he's ever said. But I'm just curious as where this transphobe comment comes from. I'm not thinking back, nothing really pins out to me that he's been anti-trans or against the LGBTQ community. He's actually been a lot more like socially liberal, in my opinion. Maybe the comments about more people need to have kids offended this person. I'm not really sure. Maybe you guys know and you can let me know in the comments what this person is referring to. But this is not the only Twitter employee. This is one of two so far. So Gerard Taylor, a senior software engineer at Twitter, is also one of the concerned employees, saying that they are concerned about the leftist company culture following Elon Musk becoming the largest shareholder. So in response to a tweet saying, I honestly can't tell if Twitter employees are happy or worried about the news, Gerard Taylor says, my current sentiment is, quote, stock is up, yay, but what about our company culture? And then once again, Andy No shows this person's Twitter bio, which is senior software engineer at Twitter, ex-Intel, mentor, my opinions are my own, and has he, him pronouns in the bio. I find largely it is people within the tech space that have their pronouns in their bio, as well as politicians. But generally speaking, I don't really know other industries that this is so predominant in compared to politics and tech. So Jerry is another Twitter employee not too happy about this news, saying, looks like I picked a good week to be off, no regrets. And also, no surprise, in their bio is pronouns. Shocking. Very shocking, isn't it? I am not surprised. I am surprised. I'm shocked. I can't believe this. So there generally seems to be this, full of hate or hateful mentality for Elon Musk among many, many Twitter employees. There's this other one saying, Elon Musk just temporarily at least made me a lot of money and I still dislike him. And it seems like the one thing all of these people have in common is they probably live in California and they're probably all leftists and they all work at Twitter and they all hate Elon. But Elon should sort of kind of be somewhat of a hero to them since he is doing the big, drive for green technology or ungreen technology, depending how you feel about, Tesla, solar panels, all of this sort of stuff. He really is the person who is making a lot of strides in this industry. So you would think that there would at least be some respect level for him advancing this industry. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems like they don't like him. They think he's a transphobe. They disagree with the sentiments he feels about Twitter, and they don't want to work for him. And in another instance, there's another Twitter employee with pronouns in their bio who's an engineering manager at Twitter who says, for the first time, Twitter leadership includes someone I had proactively blocked on this platform. And then in another subsequent tweet, Jay Holler says, okay, I'm radicalized now. And someone goes, breaking news. And that person responds saying, it's broken me. I'm not really sure why something like this is upsetting these employees so much. It reminds me so much of, the situation at Spotify with Joe Rogan, but I can understand that a little more because Joe Rogan really goes against their ideological viewpoint of the world and has people on his platform that they just vehemently hate. But Elon Musk is, like I said, advancing the sort of climate stuff that they are most likely interested in. And so I don't really understand. I think maybe they just hate the idea of free speech so much and having a platform where they maybe don't have as much, control. Maybe he's too outspoken. Maybe they don't want oversight of that way because maybe the current board or the current leadership at Twitter is much more in line with the way in which they view the world without much contradiction. Maybe he's too much of a contrarian. I don't really understand it exactly. The only person that has in this entire thread we've looked at that's really said why they don't like Elon was, I can't remember their name, but they said he was a transphobe. No one else has really said why exactly they don't like him. I'm not exactly sure when exactly Elon is going to be introduced onto Twitter's board, or if he has already. I would assume there's going to be more of a formal type of thing, but we're already witnessing, at least in small steps, Twitter taking some direction from him, at least with this whole thing of the edit button feature on tweets. But I think a lot of people were expecting Elon to be going in much more guns blazing than he is, not to receive as much of a warm welcome, at least from the current Twitter CEO. He's not getting a warm welcome from the employees, but the Twitter CEO is giving him one. I'm just not totally convinced Elon's really going to be able to change Twitter in the ways people are hoping he would be able to. Maybe it's a better approach what he's doing right now, being, not so guns blazing, working with the CEO more, working with the board rather than kind of trying to do a hostile takeover, which many people in his comment sections want. But what do you guys think? Do you think Elon being appointed to the board will really do anything at all? I was seeing reports that being appointed to the board makes it so while he's in his board term, he's not able to have ownership of more than 14.5%. I believe that's it. It's around there, percent of a stake in the company. Do you think that sort of is strangling him a little in his ability to do a hostile takeover? Would you rather see him do a hostile takeover, or do you think this is the right approach? And I'll reiterate that, do you think him being on the board will lead to any changes at all? I'm not too convinced, but of course, I'm going to be hopeful. I like Twitter. I use it a lot. It's a good place to get news. It's a good place to put out information. The one thing I wish is you could put videos out longer than 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Sometimes it's hard to condense a very good, clip that is maybe 3 minutes long to 220, and it doesn't work as well if you do 2 different clips. But I'm going on a tyrant. What is your response to this? What do you guys think? And I hope you enjoy this video, and you can follow me everywhere at The Marie Oakes. I'm basically on every platform there is, for the most part, give or take. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Bye, guys.